like to start off by saying that I was absolutely not the free throw coach today. I will get to the bottom of who was in charge of that. No, I think it was a crazy week. I've never been in the middle of a season and had to take 3 straight days off. That our guys were here, and with the NCAA rules and the Cara days, we couldn't spread them out because of the way our schedule's built on the back end during the holiday. So we've got a bunch of games coming up pretty quick, and we'll have to fight through that and be better. Thought DeMonte Williams was really impressive. Really challenged him in terms of the glass. He's been shooting the heck out of it, hitting back-to-back threes or close to it at the end of the first half. That was a terrific run. I thought Curbelo with a plus-minus of 26 not only impacts the game with the ball, but what he did on the defensive end, creating some opportunities with steals and get some guys some easy baskets. So those two guys, and again, it was very balanced scoring. I was very happy to see the ball go in for Adam. Young man's been working his tail off and graded out the best that our best after the last game on the defensive side, and then I was really happy to see Coleman. Coleman's had a good week of practice, and his last 2 weeks actually have been really good, and he's starting to feel comfortable. So he's an elite shooter. We saw that, so I was really happy for him to see the ball go in as well.
We'll start off with Jeremy, and then Nico, and then Joey. So go ahead, Jeremy.
Brad, you rattled off the performances of 3 freshmen there. What have they meant to you, and how have they kind of, eased into this and been a part of a team that's hoping to do big things so far?
Well, I don't know if they've eased in. They've been thrown in, and especially Curbelo and Adam and DeMonte's been at such a high level all year. We've been able to kind of nurture Coleman along, but yeah, those guys are all really good players. Their success comes because of what has been done prior to them coming here. They're high IQ guys. I've said it since the preseason. They're great listeners, and they have tremendous pride. And everybody develops a little bit differently at a different rate, but these guys have been able to adjust because of their IQ, their feel, their instincts allow them to do certain things. So, yeah, I'm excited. And again, it's great to see the ball go in, because that helps validate what they're doing on the other end, which they've both been doing some good things there.
Obviously, you guys got off to slow starts in both halves. And what is the value? Because everyone asks us about it, the value of bringing Andre off the bench. Why do you value that a lot right now?
Let's see, plus-minus 26. I think we could start right there. He gives us a little bit of a different dimension in terms of the floor opens up with him. We really haven't faced anybody all year, and you sure can't trap him. You can't commit 2 guys to him, but we really haven't faced anybody that's been able to keep him out of the paint. And it's a matter of time before our guys get going hitting shots, and that happened at the end of the first half. Then right at the start of the second, we were frigid. Part of that was free throw shooting, but their 17-0 run, and a little thing, which was the last. We tried to manage a 2-for-1 at the end of the half and executed it great on the offensive end. Got a couple stops and had a foul to give and committed it. I wanted a side out, not a baseline out. And we never switch on baseline outs, and we do there, and they hit a 3. That's big because they had the ball coming out and they hit a 3. So they scored 6 points without us ever touching the ball. But anyway, he changes the game. He changes the game, and he did it on both ends of the court today.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go Nico, and then Joey. Go ahead, Nico.
Brad, DeMonte said that Andre has eyeballs in his kneecaps, eyes in his elbows, that he just sees things that other guys don't see. Is that kind of an accurate way to describe that from maybe your perspective on the side? Do you kind of see some of the things that he does when he makes some of those passes?
I wish you could all see practice. It's between the defender's legs. It's some of the stuff is pretty unique, pretty special. And but it's again, sometimes he's finding the balance between probing and we're allowing him to probe, and then knowing when, the defense has collapsed and they're at the blocks and the elbows and he doesn't have anything, and he's still searching for that a little bit, but he's getting much better with that.
Have you noticed that guys maybe, or is it something you've had to coach, that you kind of, when Andre's got the ball, guys kind of need to be ready at any moment to be getting a pass when it might not even look like it could be coming their way?
You're getting a bloody nose. And, we struggled with a little bit of that early in the season. I think guys now in practice are getting acclimated and know that, it doesn't matter where he's at or what contortion his body is. He's got the ability to get it to you if you're open. So he's very, very special that way.
Thanks, Brad.
Okay, we'll go Joey Wagner and then Harry and then Brandon. Go ahead, Joey.
Hey, Brad, DeMonte stepped in, hit a three to snap that 19-0 run. He gets a steal on the other end. Trent hits a three, and all of a sudden your two seniors have wiped away a 6-point deficit. What is the value of having those guys who, they've seen an awful lot in 4 years?
It's more not just the physical plays you described. It's more the emotional state with which they keep our huddles and our team. What most people don't understand is, you could get pretty dejected when a team's on a run like that. And you can let that swell, and you can never bounce back from that. And in the timeout huddles, it was, hey, we're fine. Just settle in. Let's do what we did in the first half defense. Everything is positive. Everything's, and that allows them to those plays. And again, it's the value of experience and tremendous leadership.
Then Adam got fouled on a 3-point attempt, hit 2 of his 3 free throws. Did that kind of just seeing the ball go in, he comes out and hits another couple threes after that? Could you tell that maybe lifted him up a little bit?
Well, sure. I think that's going to lift everybody up. And nobody works harder than Adam at shooting the basketball. And he had a run the other day in practice where he made 7 in a row. And so, that's coming. That we're going to see that 6, 7 in a game or in a half coming real. And like I said earlier, he graded out better than anybody defensively after the Indiana game. And that's what really excites me, because he's taking that challenge and that amount of pride. And, I had to yo-yo he and Io a little bit, unfortunately for Adam, because he picked up 3 fouls and then Io had 3. So it was kind of a yin and a yang there to get him back to not pick up their 4th, because we knew we'd need him down the stretch.
Okay, we'll go Harry and then Brandon on deck. Go ahead, Harry.
Hey, Coach. Rare off night for Io. Can you just talk a little bit about, from your perspective, what do you think was going on with him tonight? And then also, what do you have to say about those other guys, Monte, Kofi, and even Adam, kind of stepping up and helping out when they needed to on the offensive end?
Answered it. He didn't have to. I've been waiting for the night to see how it would be when Io didn't score 20 plus or 25. And he had 12 in the first half and was terrific in the first half. And yet it didn't affect his rebounding. It didn't affect his defense. And yet guys made plays. And, down the stretch, we're going to put the ball in Io's hands, and he makes a great lob to Kofi, and he makes all the right plays. So there's a whole bunch more to winning a game and having a great game than scoring 25 every night. And I know most fans and most people don't want to hear that, but there's a reason Iowa's the best guard in the country, and he made just about every play he could to help us win.
One more thing, you mentioned a little earlier about Coleman's performance tonight. We saw obviously what he could do out there. What do you think in the future we have to look forward to from someone like him, who's been described by his teammates as an exceptionally hard worker, someone who's always trying to get better, and they have nothing but good things to say about him?
It's just the natural progression. I think we just have to let that happen. I don't want to put expectations on him, and I just want him to keep doing what he's doing. He's doing a lot of the right things, and we saw him get an offensive rebound. We saw him make a great switch on a defensive mistake by somebody else, and those are the little things that are very hard for freshmen. And man, when the ball goes in, that's great, but it's all the other things he's doing, and so we just got to let him keep getting better every single day, and he's a young man who really wants to do that.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, we'll go with Brandon and then Derek Piper. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, Brad. Speaking of Coleman, what kind of led to the decision to play him over Jacob today?
Really, really good practices. He deserved the opportunity. I reward guys who practice well. I reward guys who practice hard, and it's not anything against Jacob today. DeMonte was terrific, so it was going to be, and I felt really comfortable with DeMonte in the game today. So it was going to be some, lesser minutes maybe, but Coleman deserved that opportunity. He's been terrific in practice, and I'm always going to reward effort and positive practices with minutes when I can.
And then defensively, how would you assess the job that your team did against their bigs?
I thought they were great. I thought they were absolutely great. You hold Williams to 14. The biggest stat in that is he had 2 assists. He was 3 for whatever the first half, 3 for 9, maybe 3 for 10, 3 for less. I thought we did a great job. That comes not just on our bigs doing that. That comes with high hands. That comes with ball pressure. We lose Sasha a couple of times and one to open the game. But I thought we did a really good job on him. And of course that's Trent being Trent. So, all in all, I thought we were pretty solid against their bigs.
Okay, we'll go Derek Piper and then Scott Ritchie on deck. Go ahead, Derek.
Hey, Coach, Curbelo plays starter caliber minutes, almost 29 tonight, but just with the regular slow starts here recently, last couple of games, second half, you 10-0 run by the time he gets in. Do you think about that? Does that go into your thought process?
Not 1 second.
What do you like about what he sees from the bench? What value does that add for him, do you think?
Really comfortable in it. I mean, he prefers that. He likes seeing how that ball screen's being handled. You guys got to understand, Curbelo is one of the most. He's a savant, and I mean, he comes up and asks me stuff after shoot around that is like, wow, he's really thinking that. And he's asked me before the game. He said, "Do you think they're going to stay with me? You think they'll double me? Blah blah blah." And he's just, because he's watched so much film and he's prepared, he gets a chance to see that. And we've had probably as many decent starts as we've had tough ones. And again, today was just we lose Sasha, and I didn't mind our start as much as we missed some free throws, but things do change a little bit with Curbelo, and he's very, very comfortable in that role, and so am I.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go Scott Ritchie and then Robert Rosenthal. Go ahead, Scott.
Brad, you played lineup with all 3 of your freshmen a little in the first half, and then again in the second when you guys ultimately made a run. What made you comfortable with those 3 maybe on the court together today?
I'm slowly learning to trust them. 3 weeks ago, probably not as much. I probably would have had some high blood pressure, but and that's more on the defensive end than anything. That's our growth on the defensive side with those young guys has been fabulous. And again, it's a matter of time before they really dial in offensively and start making shots. And we saw a little touch of that today, and I hope that continues. And because those guys are they've been thrown to the wolves, so to speak, and now they're really not freshmen anymore, especially Adam and Corbello with the minutes they've played. Those guys have seen some really good teams and some really good players, and they've seen a lot of schemes thrown at them. So they're maturing into really good players pretty quickly.
Percentage wise compared to the rest of the games this season, the free throws were an anomaly, but was there any indication that tonight was going to go like that other than just maybe the first few not going down?
We had to take 3 days off, and that is very, very unusual. And you lose a competitive, I always say this, it's like the bye week in football in the playoffs. You love it because you can get healthy, and you hate it because you lose that edge. And it's hard. We didn't do anything for 3 days. The coaches weren't allowed in the building with them. So, that's a mental thing. Guys got to step up and make those, and that's a mental edge we got to get back to.
Okay, we'll go Robert Rosenthal and then Marley on deck. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, Coach, this seemed like a matchup of freshmen. Purdue played 5 freshmen today. You played 3. Both sets the freshmen scored 23, but yours on much better shooting. What did you like from your freshmen versus theirs?
Well, theirs are really good, and that's a tribute to the job that Matt and his staff do. I think that every freshman's got to find their niche, and I think our group is starting to find their niche and their identity. And some days it's we want them all to be extremely consistent. We know that doesn't always happen, but I think we're starting to find a comfort, and maybe that has as much to do with it as anything. But Newman's had some big moments. Gillis has had some big moments for them. Obviously, the big kid Edie has been very, very impactful in his minutes. So again, I think it's just comfort for us.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll finish up with Marley. Go ahead, Marley.
Hey, Coach, how did today just emphasize DeMonte Williams and the growth that he's had this season and these past couple of years with the program?
Yeah, we challenged DeMonte. I think one of the things that in the Indiana game, I didn't like DeMonte's effort going to the glass. And what does DeMonte do today? He goes out and gets 10. And they're big rebounds. And, everybody's talking about his 3-point shooting. We all knew he was very capable of that. But his passing, his steal, his headiness, he's so connected and such a great communicator on the defensive side. He helps so many guys because of that. And again, it's just his demeanor in a timeout that's kind of calming. And, you can't put a value on that. So, he's grown into not just a good player, but he's grown into a huge factor on a really good college basketball team.
Now, last January, you guys started out the season with a loss, went on a 6-7 game win streak. Do you think about this year, 2021, and what this game could mean for setting the tone moving forward for you guys as you head into what will be a tough January?
I just look at it as a win against a really good team. If I thought about that far ahead or that far in arrears, I'd drive myself nuts. I was trying to figure out that sounds like trying to plan during COVID. It changed from day to day and still can. And so I all I know is we've got Northwestern next, and they're great and they're playing well, and we're going to have to be at our best to go there and play with a really good basketball team. So for me, I have to keep it in that perspective.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, that'll wrap up today's press conference. Appreciate your time. We'll see you at the next one. Thanks, everyone.